Hey girl, hey Ivy. Hey guys, this is Megan from You Go to Be Kidding. This week we are talking about the goats. It's November, and unfortunately what happens in November for us is that our milk starts to dry up. So we're going to talk about what we do, how we manage our goats drying up, and some ways that you can preserve and save some milk so you're not out all winter. So Ivy and Cedar and Tansy are our ladies in milk right now. They were all bred successfully early October, which means that we are now more than a full month in to their pregnancies, and I feel like I can actually start to see some on Ivy. It's their right side, so her belly right here. The left side is where you can see how much they've eaten and stuff, but that right side's starting to get a little big. So these ladies have started to dry up for me. Goats are pregnant for 5 total months. And usually after a month or 2 is when they dry up. So November is pretty usual for me. I like to breed that October first week, as close to that as I can get. And then I end up with late February babies. So all 3 of these ladies got bred. And that will be awesome because then we'll have a second batch of babies with our junior does here that are coming up. So unfortunately it's November and we are running out of milk, and we won't get milk again until probably very early March. But that's kind of part of the dairy animals. If you haven't had a dairy animal before, it's something to think about. They are not in milk all year. Even a cow has to be dried up. You have to get an animal pregnant. She has to give birth in order to give milk. And so making sure that you kind of manage that, or know ahead of time that you're not going to have milk all year round unless you have some ways to switch that up. Some ways to kind of solve that problem, or to fix the no milk problem. Some people will have more than one cow. If you have cows, you can kind of breed them off cycle, and then there should be some overlap and you should be able to keep in milk all year. With goats, some people can manage it, but our goats are seasonal breeders, so they only go into heat starting around September. It's possible to go earlier, but ours have been mostly starting in September. Through December is when they'll go into heat, and they'll go into heat every 3 weeks until they get bred, and then hopefully if they get bred, then they are pregnant for 5 months, and then they give birth again, but they don't get pregnant all summer. So I have a few months variation there, and I do have these babies staggered behind their mamas. So hopefully I will have milk a little bit longer. It will depend on when I breed them next year, is what kind of cuts off their cycle. So the mamas will start milking late February, early March, and the babies should all be due. Oak was put in here a couple weeks ago. It's November, so they'll be about a month behind. Probably April is when the babies will start milking. So I can stagger them a little better. With 3 does this year, didn't work out to stagger them very well. So Nigerian dwarf goats are the only goats that go into heat. Oh, I came in, so you think I brought you something. I don't have anything for you. Hello, ladies. Nigerian dwarf goats are the only ones that go into heat every month. And so if you wanted to have milk year round, you could raise Nigerian dwarf goats. The problem is that Nigerian dwarfs are really small and they don't give you a lot of milk. So you have to have a lot more goats than we do. We get a little bit more milk than that. Sometimes these mini crosses that have the Nigerian dwarf in them, sometimes they can go into heat more often, but ours have not. So our mini La Manchas are just about 50-50. We're actually trying to bring in a little bit more La Mancha lines to help increase milk supply. But the ones we have milking right now are 50-50, and they do not go into heat all year round. So either cows to cycle around, enough goats to separate out, but it's still hard within those few winter months where they would go into heat, or a different breed of goats. So those are really our only options. And other than that, our options are trying to figure out how to preserve our milk so we have it for longer. We've tried freezing it in the past. We've used little silicone ice trays to try to freeze our milk, and it's worked all right, but the consistency is a little weird when you defrost it. And so we didn't do that this year at all. We didn't freeze any. It does work great for baking if you do that. But the one thing that I'm really excited to try next year is a freeze dryer. So a freeze dryer will actually take all the water out of your milk, and it will preserve it in a powdered form, basically. And that will preserve it. Oh, please don't come close. No, you stink. Hi, buddy. You stay over there. So a freeze dryer will preserve the milk in a way that we can easily reconstitute it. And so I'm really excited to do that. We actually just recently got a freeze dryer, and I'm so excited to start trying it out and using it for different things. And that will be a huge blessing for us for keeping milk over the winter. So since we're out of milk, really the only option for us right now is to buy it from a local farmer. I'm thankful we have a couple of great local farms nearby that sell milk that we can pick up. And so that's a huge blessing, but it's expensive, and rightfully so. I wouldn't want to sell my milk cheap either. But it's an interesting thing. For most of the year we get to have our own dairy, but during the winter we get to support another farmer and take care of it. So I'm happy to do that. I'm glad that we have that option. I know sometimes people cannot source raw milk, and get involved if you've got legislature coming up or any sort of laws on the books. Get involved and get those passed. It's a little bit silly that we can't even buy the food that we want to feed our families, but anyway, I'm thankful for what we do have. And so I just wanted to share, if you are new to dairy animals or maybe considering one, make sure that you're thinking about what to do when they are dried up. It usually is several months, 3 to 4 months. Even with a cow, I believe you dry them off about 4 months, and you dry them off 4 months, and then you never know when baby will actually show up. But you have to plan for what to do when they're dry, and so the freezing it or using a freeze dryer are the most common things. The other way you can preserve milk is to make cheese, and so I've been trying to learn how to make cheeses. I'm excited to have more milk next year to do even more, but at the moment I don't have any, and I love some milk in my coffee, so cheese isn't going to help me out there. But thanks for watching. I hope that this helps you learn something or think about something that you hadn't considered before. But we will see you next week, and we appreciate you. Thanks for watching.